welcome to Sewing Anastasia, and today we are going to create an infinity scarf. An infinity scarf is a great gift because it's easy to make and you can keep everybody you love warm. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so that way you know when all of my other videos come out. Supplies for this project are super simple. You're going to need 3/4 yard of fabric. Today I'm using a flannel, super cozy for winter. You're also going to need your matching thread and a pair of scissors. So easy. The first thing we need to do is cut out our fabric. So my fabric is 3/4 yard long and it's 45 inches wide. So what you need to do is cut your fabric in half widthwise. So that way you end up with 2 separate rectangles. So we want this scarf to be really long so we can wrap it around our neck a few times and make it an infinity scarf. So we're gonna have to sew together the short ends, but just on one side. So let's go over to the sewing machine and sew up these ends real quick. Today I'm gonna be using the Husqvarna Viking Epic 980Q, but you can use any sewing machine that does a straight stitch. So we wanna put our right sides together and sew up the short edge with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Now that we have this really long piece of fabric, we need to fold it in half lengthwise. Now let's fold it up. Ta-da! So next, we're gonna sew up this really long edge that we have. So let's go over to the sewing machine and sew it up because we are almost done. We're gonna create 1/2 inch seams, so make sure it's lined up at the 1/2 inch and make sure you backstitch. And now we gotta sew all the way to the end. Stop and make sure your fabric's lined up every once in a while, or use pins. Make sure you backstitch at the ends. And we did it! One super long seam at a 1/2 inch. Now that we have the long edge all sewn up, we need to sew these 2 ends together. But how are we gonna do that so it looks nice? Well, what we are gonna do is take this end and fish it all the way through to the other end so it's inside of itself. And then we're gonna sew this circle together. So this tube is so large that I can fit my arm through it to turn it right side out. Cool. But if your scarf is kind of narrow and you can't fit your arm through it, you could use a safety pin or a tube turner or any other way that you like turning a tube. So I want you to take one side of the tube and hold it with your hand. And now I want you to fish this over your entire arm. So you're like pulling it over your arm. You see this? So it's gonna scrunch up on your arm. And what you wanna do is reach the other end. So you're holding that end of the fabric though the whole time. Don't let go of it because you need it. So here's the piece I'm holding with my hand, and here's that other end of the tube. So now my pieces are right side together. How cool. So now what we need to do is line up those seams. So we have a seam here, and we have a seam here. So right sides together. I mean, they already are right sides together. And just hold it with your other hand. Hold it with your right hand if you have it on your left hand. And now go ahead and pull your left hand out. Now you have 2 hands. Magic! But it's all ruffled up still, which is totally fine. So we want to make sure these 2 edges are lined up, and then we're going to go over to the machine and sew it up, but leave a 2 inch opening, and then we're going to turn it right side out, and we'll have an infinity scarf. Let's sew this seam up at a 1/2 inch, and make sure you backstitch. Now don't forget, you want to leave an opening to turn it right side out. So I've got my opening, so I'm gonna backstitch. and cut. Okay, so now that we have this opening here, we're gonna flip it right side out. So go ahead and start pushing through that hole, and let's bird this scarf. Whoa, what is going on? This is crazy. Is it gonna work? Okay, here it comes. We did it! It's a circle. It's infinity, forever and forever and forever. An infinity scarf, so cool. Okay, so the last step is closing up this hole we have. So let's go over to the machine and do a mini edge stitch. So now what we want to do is do a stitch 1/8 of an inch right on the very edge to close up this hole. So make sure you're back stitching. Back stitch at the end and cut. And we are done. Now we have our edge stitch and it closed up that hole. So we are ready to stay warm and wear our scarf or gift it. Check it out. I am loving this new infinity scarf. I don't even know if I want to gift it because, I mean, I'm kind of liking it. But they make really great gifts. So I hope you had fun making a scarf with me today, and you make all your friends and family scarves too. Thanks so much for watching Sew Anastasia today. I hope you had fun making an infinity scarf with me. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below and I'll get back as soon as I can. And as always, follow me on Instagram at Sew Anastasia and Anastasia Chatzka for sewing and fashion adventures. And if you're in Chicago, come take a sewing class with me, or I would love to make you a custom garment. And if you haven't seen my Patreon lately, hop on over to Patreon. Check out all the ways you can support Sew Anastasia. And if you didn't know, I have digital sewing patterns and supplies available on my website. So make sure you go and check that out at AnastasiaChatzka.com. And if you're loving these videos, make sure you give them a thumbs up and hit that notification bell so you can see all the other videos when they come out. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!